This is AHMED for IFL TV in association with MTK Global. I think it's the first interview I've done with you in America, Adam. We're in Las Vegas.
The first interview, it's not the first time we've been here. Just reminiscing actually on the amount of fights we've covered here at the MGM Grand Arena since way back. You know, Mike Tyson destroying Frank Bruno in March 1996, that stands out. So many great ones over the year, obviously involving Ricky Hatton, Mike Tyson, Floyd Mayweather, Oscar De La Hoya had a number here. Great fights, Barrera, Morales, Juan Manuel Marquez owned this arena for a little time too. It's very famous. It's had a number of incredible fights, incredible stories. Prince Nassim Hamed being turned over by Barrera was here. It's you know, the fighting world, the boxing world has changed over the years. You know, we've obviously got a huge part of it now in Britain, and you know, with so many fights at the O2 and Manchester Arena, and obviously at Wembley and the Principality too. But there is something special about coming to Vegas, and this arena has got a lot of history, certainly in modern history, boxing history terms, the last 20, 30 years.
Yeah, Deontay Wilder's looking to create some of his history and you know, put a more, we say, clear-cut performance on against Ruiz-Ortiz. Obviously, the first fight was a thriller. I think people sometimes forget that, how close Ortiz was to stopping Wilder. I think it was in the 7th round.
It's a big night for Deontay. It's his first appearance back in Vegas since he beat Bermain's Defern to win the WBC title. So a number of defences he's had on the road. That one was in New York against Ruiz-Ortiz, which we covered. Thunderous fight, fantastic scrap, toe-to-toe, one of the fights of the year. Ruiz-Ortiz had him in all sorts of trouble and just couldn't quite finish the job. And I think the bell and the minute in between the rounds sort of helped Deontay. But he came back and he got the job done like a true champion he is. And now, 20 months on, we've got the rematch. I think, look, Ruiz-Ortiz looks in terrific shape. He's lost a lot of weight. He looks ready. He knows he can hurt Wilder, but he isn't getting any younger. And Wilder obviously coming off that terrific win over Dominic Breazeale in quick-fire fashion just before the fight with AJ and Ruiz a couple of weeks later in New York. And, you know, similarly again, Deontay fights, and 2 weeks later we're in Saudi for the rematch of Ruiz and AJ. So 2 great rematches to finish the year. And yeah, really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to seeing whether Deontay can get the job done quicker. Can Ortiz prove problems? Can he hurt him again early? You know, will he struggle like Tyson Fury did last time out when they've got a big fight planned? These are the worrying moments when, you know, you take dangerous fights, and this is a dangerous fight for Deontay Wilder. We saw what happened in Brooklyn, and there's no doubting that something like that could unfold again. I just think with the time of it, with the fact that, as I said, Ortiz is not getting any younger. He sort of might have had his opportunity, but look, don't write him off because he's dangerous. You know, he was talked about as possibly fighting Joshua before Andy Ruiz stepped in. You know, he's a difficult southpaw and he hits hard, so can't be taken lightly. We hope for more of the same from Brooklyn, but I think probably a more decisive Deontay Wilder victory this time is more likely.
Are you surprised Deontay's taking this fight, considering in February there's a signed contract, we've heard, for a mega fight involving millions and millions of dollars with Tyson Fury? I mean, that's only, 3 months out? Why is he taking this?
I'm sure there's still millions of dollars on the table here with Fox on pay-per-view and going all around the world.
Multi-million though with Fury, I suppose.
Yeah, it's a huge fight. I mean, obviously the first fight was a fantastic one. You know, I thought Tyson Fury won it. How he got up off the last round knockdown, no one knows but him. And I think Deontay probably felt, you know, deep down, if he looks at himself in the mirror, pretty fortunate to get away with the draw. And look, he'll want to sort of right that wrong and try and get rid of Fury. He had him down earlier, and then he had him almost absolutely out in the back end. So he'll be confident he can dismantle Fury. Look, Tyson got cut last time out. He's then playing about in the WWE world and, you know, having fun as well. Tyson Fury, and, you know, he just released a book and all that sort of stuff, and great, keeping his name in the spotlight. I think it will happen. It's slated for February. I think it has to be a clean, decisive Deontay Wilder victory for that to happen. If he struggles at all, if it goes into the later rounds, I'd be very surprised if February comes in. That's on top of the cut with Fury. But yeah, it's a good question. Should he be taking it? It's a dangerous challenge, but I think it's probably the right challenge at this time, 20 months on. As I said, Ruiz-Ortiz, I don't think will get any better, and probably had that moment, the beginning of the 8th round or something to finish him off and didn't. So will he get the opportunity again? But if Wilder looks to finish him quickly, then he can leave himself open, and that's when it gets interesting again. So we hope for a fire fest, but obviously for the future of the heavyweight division, despite the fact Ruiz-Ortiz will be the second oldest heavyweight champion ever and the first Cuban, the sport would need Deontay Wilder to win, fight Tyson Fury, and then obviously fight the winner of Ruiz and Joshua.
And from a Sky point of view, I mean, you've had Spence Porter, Golovkin, Derevyanchenko, Canelo Kovalev, and now to round off the year with this, with a heavyweight rematch, must be delighted, Adam.
Yeah, and obviously Prograis and Taylor and Inoue.
In terms of the international content, Inoue, Donaire.
Inoue and Donaire as well, which we picked up late. So we've really tried very hard over the last few weeks to provide fight fans, all of us, with the best entertainment and action we can, and we've had some really good fights of the year. So yeah, it's a particularly powerful schedule. The second half of 2019, the first half wasn't quite as good. I think we've really picked up pace, and I think it's been a terrific run. Some great fights of the year candidates in Britain and worldwide, and there's no reason why we can't have more before the year's out. And obviously we're all building up to 2 weeks on Saturday in Saudi, which is obviously for everyone in Britain the biggest fight of the year and the most important, but it's also very important to see what happens here on Saturday.
Well, let's talk about Saudi Arabia. We're 2 weeks out, as you said. Do want to ask you Sky's decision to increase the price to, I think, $24.95. Am I correct in saying that? Yeah, just tell me about that.
It's an event that people want to watch. Nobody likes increasing anything. But I think the answer to that is that there are tiered events now on Sky Sports box office. If you look at KSI and Logan Paul, that was under £10. We believe AJ and Ruiz too is a much more important worldwide fight, and we price it accordingly. But we always think of our customers, and we try our best, and that's where we are. But it's a difficult question to answer, obviously, because no one likes to push anything up. But there are business factors, and also, as I said, the fact that we've varied prices within the last few weeks for KSI and Logan Paul for the audience and for the markets and for what we consider, because a lot of people criticise us for doing that fight, and then they're actually maybe pretty entertained and ended up being at its level, and let's be honest, at its level, the most entertaining and exciting fight of the night. So that happened for just under a tenner, and this is more expensive, but we see this as an elite event.
Appreciate that. Some people have just said it's an extra $5. You are going to buy the fight anyways, but it has come.
It's a difficult one to answer, because obviously it's a tough decision. It's a tough question, but I would just say that I was talking to the Americans here, and they charge $70-$80 for a pay-per-view. So to watch Deontay Wilder over here against Ruiz-Ortiz this weekend on Fox, you have to pay, I believe, $70-$75 for it, which in the exchange rate now is whatever, £60, £65. So that's 3 times what Sky box office are charging, and obviously there's other box office events, ITV, BT as well, and they set their own prices, but compared to what is happening in America, it's not nearly as expensive. And we're providing Deontay Wilder and Ruiz-Ortiz on Sky Sports, as well as the Golden Contract on Friday night and Callum Smith against John Ryder. I think it's a bumper weekend on Sky Sports for fight fans. We've got Monaco next week, and then yes, it is a pay-per-view event, it is a box office event, but we believe it's the most highly anticipated fight of the year, and that's where it's set at. So we hope people still tune in. I'm sure they will, because it's a fight that everybody wants to see, and it's going to have a huge effect on the future of the heavyweight division and of British boxing.
As I said, there is a small camp saying, it's only an extra $5. What can you get for 25 quid these days? But there are people saying, Eddie has said this, I know he's with Matchroom and it doesn't make decisions for Sky, but he said the pay-per-view price point in the UK will never change, regardless who fights. He has said that before. And the fact that we're not sure whether, if a Joshua Wilder fight's made or a Joshua Fury, what's the threshold then? 35 quid, 40 quid? Will it go up to sort of them prices?
I've no idea. I mean, I would hope not, but it's a case-by-case basis. And obviously, as time moves on, and there's all sorts to look at. If you look at inflation, if you look at whether tube fares go up every year or whatever. I mean, there are businesses that need to. It is a business. I've said many times that I would like every sweet in the jar on Sky, but it's not possible. It's not possible at all because we have a lot of competition now because boxing is hot. It's a massive sport now, and Anthony Joshua's been paramount to that. So has Eddie Hearn, so has Sky. BT have got a great stable over there. ITV Box Office have come and gone, and they come again, and we wait for that. But we've stayed loyal to the sport, and I think that's really important. So, look, we stayed loyal. We've always had box office events. I've no idea what those fights are a fantasy at the moment, as you and I know. I'd be very surprised if prices were hiked right up just for that. I mean, we see AJ Ruiz too as an elite event, but if we get AJ Wilder and AJ Fury in the ring, the first thing we've got to do is get them in the ring, and then we'll obviously have a look at that by a case-by-case basis. But there's no reason why some events can't be $9.99 like KSI and Logan Paul were. So you just have to look at it, and you have to make what we believe is an educated and obviously a business decision. But it is important for me that customers and fight fans are happy, and that's what I've been trying to do over the last 3 or 4 months, to get as many international fights as well as all the great Matchroom content and the MTK Golden Contract shows and all of that. So, but I know, Umar, you can't win. Either something's too expensive, or we haven't got enough of it, or that fight was no good, or you can't win. We just have to do the best we can, and I have a fantastic team who work round the clock to try and provide that.
Just a final one on this. I'm guessing if it was in America, which it was looking likely, meaning the fight on pay-per-view in the UK would have been about 3 or 4 a.m., there wouldn't have been a price increase. It is now on, guessing 8:30, 9 o'clock, because it's in Saudi Arabia.
As I said, the question's getting repetitive. As I said, it's a case-by-case basis. We had $9.99 for KSI Logan Paul. That was the middle of the night. Now, this could have been in New York. Who knows? Maybe it would have been the same. Maybe it would have been different. I don't know. We would have had to look at it there. It's happening, as you correctly said, on UK time. It's not happening in the UK, which is obviously a different situation for us operationally. We're host broadcasters. We're taking a lot of people out there. There's a lot of work to do on that front. If it had happened in Cardiff, which was our first choice, then it would have been obviously at 10:30, 11 o'clock at night. This is going to be at 9 o'clock UK time, which is incredible time for it. So yeah, everything is part of what is being looked at for each event. But as I said, it's a fantastic run up to them. We've got Callum Smith, we've got Deontay Wilder, the Golden Contract, we've got Monaco, then we've got AJ. So if you look at that in the course of that, I think it's certainly a pre-Christmas present you want to get, isn't it?
Absolutely. And talking about next Saturday in Liverpool, this Saturday rather, you and Matthew are going to be here in Las Vegas. So who's going to be doing the commentary?
We'll wait and see. No. We're splitting the teams. Andy Clark's doing the Golden Contract on Friday night, and also the Callum Smith fight. I believe Andy Lee is possibly doing Liverpool, or maybe in the Golden Contract, or Enzo Macronelli. I'll check with my great AP Leanne. Leanne, is Golden Contract Enzo Macronelli on Friday night? Do you know? Andy Lee Saturday? We think it is. Certainly Tony Bellew, I think, is involved on Saturday. Anthony Croller, Johnny Nelson. It's half the team are there and half the team are here. But Matt and I are here. We're concentrating and focusing on this side. But I believe Andy Lee is commentating on the Callum Swift fight.
I asked that because I was wondering, actually, you and Matthew are so regular on them Sky UK shows, that who's actually going to be covering, but you just named a load of people.
Look, we like using different people. Carl Froch sometimes commentates. Paul Smith does a great job for us. Andy Lee and Enzo Macronelli, we tried more recently, and we've been very pleased with both of them. They're freelancers. I've got certain talent on my books. Obviously, Anna and Johnny and Matt and Carl, but we like to shake it up a little bit at times as well, bring different voices in. Dave Colwell's been excellent for us. Spencer Oliver will be in Saudi all week for Sky Sports News. So David Hay at times, George Groves is going to come with us to Saudi. So there's a lot of people that we try and use. We try and branch out. There's a lot of great different voices, independent voices in boxing. Andy Lee and Enzo Maccarinelli had a lot of great feedback. So yeah, and obviously Matt and I can't be in two places. Andy Clark's doing really well, and no, I'm really pleased that there's a chance for different people. Anthony Croller's really impressed us as a guest too. He'll be joining them on Saturday night. So yeah, it's we're sport for choice really, Umar. It's nice.
Well, listen, Adam Smith, appreciate your time here in Vegas. We look forward to Friday night with the MTK Golden Contract, Saturday in Liverpool with Callum Smith and John Ryder, and then the big heavyweight fight here from Vegas. Thank you for your time.
No problem at all.